Hey everybody, welcome back. Okay, so every month I like to touch base with something that is the bread and butter of my entire channel. And it's what I do most when it comes to being a concept artist and trying to invent cool things. And that is thumbnail sketching. Now, those of you that have been subscribed to me for years now, you know about my thumbnailing approach, but this isn't just about creatures. Even though that's my specialty, it's about getting ideas out and not worrying so much about the outcome in the first 30 seconds. So when you're looking at this page, or any page for that matter, your sketchbook, it's all clear. Okay, you buy this brand new sketchbook and you're like, oh man, I don't want to screw anything up, right? Well, the good thing is you can't mess up at the thumbnail stage. So you see this drawing that I have up here. Anybody can do that. Any one of you right now watching, if you haven't drawn in years, if you think you suck at art, or if you're a seasoned veteran, it all comes down to expressing yourself through line, letting the shapes come out, without obsessing about what you think the shapes or lines need to be doing in the first place. When I started this page, as I've been talking, I didn't know that this was going to happen. I didn't know that those lines were going to happen. I just physically pushed my pencil down and I just made lines by pressing and releasing pressure. So I want all of you right now, no matter your skill level, to try this out. Okay, and you're going to number these. Now, like I said before, I have many videos on this. So if you check out my thumbnail playlist, I have different types, some mixed with marker, some mixed, I think I even have crayon in there, ballpoint pen, pencil, and then more refined thumbnail sketching. Okay, so that means, if you spend 2, maybe 3 minutes tops on one of these little doodles, a refined thumbnail would still be small and still be not illustrated and fleshed out, but it would have enough detail in there where you can start to see wrinkles and shading, tail, horns, or whatever you want to draw. All right. Again, I go over all of that terminology in my thumbnailing playlist. So definitely check that out and bookmark it. So here, because bugs are so much fun to draw, this is an insect that probably looks like a spider to most of you. Looks like a giant termite spider ant to me because of the big abdomen right here. So we're just going to keep that. Okay, now all of those little markings inside here, they have no purpose. But they're there just in case you want to form a purpose for them later on. So let me show you what that means. All right, so let's say that we have a thumbnail like this, and it's a bunch of scribbles. So you're looking at this and you're going, how am I supposed to extract shapes when I don't know what is supposed to come out? Well, you're not supposed to know what's supposed to come out. Wait, what's supposed to come out? Look at the lines that are the darkest. Look at the shapes that are the most prominent. Look at the lines that are showing up more on top of the bigger shapes than others. Without you consciously inventing that to happen, it's happening naturally. So that means that on a big shape like this, and you just decide to shake your pencil or pen across it, now I have some zigzags, but some of them are darker than others. So look at this line. All right, that was unintentional. I just happened to release pressure across that abdomen for that. So I'm just going to shade under it. Now, why am I shading under that? It's a trick that I like to do if I want to start extracting shapes that I have drawn. So if you're looking at your scribbles and you're going, I don't even know what to pull out because I don't look at enough animal reference or insects or dinosaurs or whatever. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Take those lines and start adding some shadows underneath those lines that stick out the most. All right, let's choose another area. Look at this really cool, it's almost like a playground slide. So it's like a stretched out S or something. I'm going to start to make some oval shapes directly under that line, lightly. Like this. Now it's starting to stick out. Now look what that does. Okay, and I'm going to start going in different directions to kind of even out the shading. Everything over here in the right hemisphere is getting less shading, so it's sticking out more, and this looks like shadow. Okay, so what about this one? What if they crisscross? All right, well, if this is going under everything, it's probably going to be even darker. Now you have a two-parter. You have one with darker shadows underneath. That's where that shelf stops. And now you have this one with slightly lighter shading. So that means it's going up and collecting more light if it's lit from above. So now you have like a little point here where, you need to make a decision. It's darker under there. And I just kind of faded it off to the left, and then this is lighter coming up. This is how we design products. You know all those really cool shampoo and conditioner and deodorant, canisters and cases? They all have really good product design on the outside. It's very attractive looking. And the lines are super simple. It's no different than an accent line going across your car. It's kind of the same thing. So you want to layer these up by how hard you press on it. Anyway, let's move on. So follow along with me right now. Draw your ground plane like this. Okay, did you see how I did that back and forth? I just kind of loosely placed my pencil. I'm not gripping it hard. Speaking of pencils, Mars Lumograph 4B. Okay, Staedtler. That's the kind I'm using today. These are German pencils. Very, very good. After you have this ground plane in here, just put a couple marks down. 1, 2, 3. Now, each placement that I put those in, like the space that I put those in, that was just random. I don't know what's about to happen, but I do know that I have 3 lines to work with. All right, next step, let's start putting some lighter lines in between those. Now I'm going back and forth, pressing lighter and pressing a little harder and then pressing pretty dark. So now what's happening is it's a combination of light, medium, and dark lines. This is what builds depth on your thumbnail pages. And it also helps build depth within your design too. Okay, now it's going to be up to you to extract some of these shapes. Now I don't know what's about to happen, but I do know that I at least have a basic shape to work with. This big pill bug shape, and then whatever this thing is. Okay, so maybe we can get something rather alien. Okay, maybe there's like a long tail here, like this. And then maybe there's some face hugger legs coming off the side. It's kind of like a mixture of a pill bug, a horseshoe crab, and a face hugger. So the tail's coming out. Okay, we have that. Now it's almost like this creature is pressing on the ocean floor or whatever kind of ground it is and kind of pressing off up this way. Okay, so maybe the head is actually over here looking out. Oh, just something very cool and strange. Okay, and I'm just putting these legs in here and I'm attaching them to the ground. A really cool trick if you're doing thumbnails like this and you want to show that your thumbnail is actually attached to something, put a little dark mark where the ground meets the limb or the foot, like a little dark mark like this, and it draws attention to that and it feels like it's sticking its legs in mud or something, or dirt, or whatever it is. If it's on a completely alien surface and there is no mud or dirt, it still looks like it's being grounded. Now these legs won't show up sticking out over here, so maybe they'll go like this. So it kind of looks angry, right? Like it's about to pounce. This is the back spine. Okay, it's going to extend this ground a little bit. I'm having a lot of fun with this one. That's what happens whenever you do a page of thumbnails. It feels like the first one was just going to be a warm-up, obviously. And then as you start progressing, you start to experiment more and your drawing actually changes. Not your page drawing. I'm talking about your ability. You start to think differently. I'm thinking of shapes now that I did not in this first one. And it's going to happen again with the next sketch that I do. This thing coming across here, it could be, maybe the shell is split. And then maybe there's like some wings here. Oh my gosh, I did it again. My pencil keeps hitting the side of that. I know it happens for everybody. You know, let's turn that into a tentacle on the side. Let's just do that. It's so dark originally that it wasn't going to work as a leg. And the leg can't come out of the shell like that. So we could just start doing this stuff. I do want to put some emphasis up there on the head because I think we got something neat going on here. All the tiny little joints that are happening where the shoulders, really not that important. I'm going to attempt to put a slight core shadow on the rounded part of this shell. And I'm going to build that up all the way down to that point. There we go. If you ever put a core shadow in and it's white on both sides of it and it's just the shadow because you haven't gotten done shading yet, you're not done with it, go to the edge of the core shadow and just bleed it up into the white. Just a little bit. So that way it doesn't end the shadow abruptly. Because you got all these hair marks from shading. I like to do little ovals so I can even everything out. You can take your blending stick and just take care of it instantly, or you can just go old school like I am and just shade it. I'm old school. Of course I'm going to shade it, unless I absolutely have to use a blending stick for something. I'm going to go back in here, and I'm not going to go up and down at zigzags. I'm going to use small circles because you can control it easier. There we go, like that. Now it kind of looks like a whole core shadow. Now what will happen is you'll actually get another one on the edge of the shell over here, just not as deep. I'm going to use that at least in a couple different directions. And under here is the underbelly. All this from a random thumbnail. All right, now obviously this thing is no face hugger because face hugger tails are a lot longer. But I can section the tail off. And then maybe there's some really cool anatomy going on here. Maybe that's sharp, that's sharp. Maybe it's kicking up some, I don't know, some ocean floor soot, whatever's down there. Okay. The more segments, the better, because then that means it's more articulated. Okay, there we go. Now there's going to be a little mound of sand here. I guess. I don't know, I guess. Darken up some of the legs. Only at the tip, and then I'm going to fade it up into the legs. There we go, and then some shadows of the other side. So there we have it. This is a slightly more refined thumbnail, but essentially what I want all of you to do now is, this lesson was going to be short and sweet. What I want all of you to do now is dedicate a page to this, all right? Give yourself a good hour or two, depending on how many you want to do. And I would fill it up. Just fill it up. Okay, if you worry too much about the outcome of your drawings, or you just think they're going to be terrible and you're ruining your sketchbook, you're going about drawing the wrong way. You're not supposed to worry about the sketchbook. Sketchbook doesn't care. You care. This is just paper, okay? And not only that, nobody else on earth cares except for you. So if you're trying to perfect your drawings, even before you learned how to draw certain things, you're trying to jump the gun too much, you know? A lot of times we look at finished art online and we think that, oh, that's the measuring stick. It's actually not. It's not. All the pretty stuff that you see drawn and painted on ArtStation and wherever else, no. Those artists had to go through this part. This part is what allows you to get to the finished stuff that's so pretty. You got to go through the dirty and the gritty before you get to the pretty. This is the way it is. Very, 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 very rarely do you just start painting or start drawing, and that one is going to be your ultimate masterpiece. Okay, because even through the illustrations, you still go through trial and error. You still go through color correction, and oops, I drew this. Let's see what it turns into. Those kind of scenarios. So remember, nobody cares about your drawings and how they look except for you. And if you care too much, you're never going to allow yourself to progress. Allow yourself to screw up. Okay, that's the name of the game. It's actually more human and more relieving just to know that you screwed up on something. Because if somebody else sees your art, they're going, oh yeah, I know how you feel. I screw up all the time. We do. I've been drawing for 40-something years and I still screw up. Okay, there's no perfection in art. So just allow yourself to experiment and fail and triumph and then fail and experiment. That's the fun part about it. Okay, there we go. This thing is pretty darn weird. It went from a simple face hugger pill bug thing to this. What is this? What would you name it? I always ask my audience to name the creatures. Name it in the comments. All right, folks. Do a whole page like this. All right, I know you can do it. I know you can. All right, and there's no screwing up at the thumbnail stage. So do a page of creatures. Let me know how you do it, and comment below. Let me know your thought process, what works, what didn't work, and share these on our Creature Design Workshop Discord. All right, I hope you enjoyed today's lesson, and I will see you next time. Peace.